Sure.
We're live.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, it is Wendy O. Some of you know me as Crypto Wendy O, and I am on Hotep Jesus's channel today. Thank you so much for having me, Hotep.
Yo, thanks for doing this little pilot project, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I'm
You
excited.
know,
I'm excited. I got a lot to say about all these different topics that we have, and I'm excited to kind of branch out of crypto a little bit and see how this goes.
I know because crypto's got a lot of relationship problems in itself.
Well, crypto has got it definitely has a lot of issues, and it's just a different, whole different type of culture, or actually, I want to say more of like a subculture of a culture because the type of people there, it's like not real life, I guess. And I don't think a lot of them have girlfriends, or even the boys in crypto. I don't think they know how to talk to women in general.
They don't get women.
Well, that too, and that there's a special term for that. It's called incel.
Yeah, yeah. You
So
find
there's
that guys who can't get women
is that
usually are bad with women and become
is
incelish and hate women and so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's a lot of disdain towards women. Like even women that code that are like familiar with the tech, like it's just not they don't like you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
really.
understand. Yeah, no, there's girls that I know too, like women that actually work in the industry. The stories that I've heard and things that have been said and whatnot, it's kind of not cool. Like you wouldn't get that. You don't get that in healthcare. You don't get that in like maybe like finance you do, but you don't get that in like management or any other types of industries. It's really like crypto. Like there's just a lot of weird stuff
It's a
that
lot of.
happens.
It sounds like a lot of little dick energy in crypto.
Yeah, there's a lot of little dick energy, and then you got all those male traders. They think they have that big dick energy, but
Yeah, but they really don't.
they're out there swinging their dicks. Well, they think they're swinging around. They're not doing much of anything, though. So.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah. You saw my foray or my introduction into the crypto community
oh yeah,
when I got jumped in last year.
yeah.
You know, so I'm well aware of the emotionality, and I think that has a lot to do with our topic today, with the fall of man and how emotional men are.
Hmm.
So on and so forth.
Right. And you know what? I don't think, me personally, I think that it's good that men have their type of emotions because women got their type of emotions. We're born and bred to be a specific way. We've got our genes, we've got our genetic makeup. Obviously there's a cultural thing that goes along with it too. But at the same time, like there's a certain, men could be emotional. There's things that I think, you guys can get emotional about at times. And just like women, we've got our stuff that we get emotional about.
My bad. I want to make sure the microphone's working. Yo, chat. Let me know
Let's see.
how's how's the sound. Chat. Let me know how the sound doing.
Uh, I heard myself. Did they?
We should be good. Now
Okay.
last stream we had some popping, so I just want to make sure that the sound was good before we continue, so I can mitigate anything before we get deep on this topic.
Okay. All right.
We're live, so we can do that.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
get.
the motivation behind this. Just so y'all know, we're about to embark on, a little pilot project. Me and Wendy O, and we're gonna talk about relationships on a weekly basis and tackle these topics one by one. This is what we're doing the fall of man. This is what we're gonna do the fall of woman. But I really got motivated to create content for a reason that I never thought I would be motivated by. I think a lot of people are motivated by money, fame. Um, but my thing was with this whole coronavirus thing, noticing how people's MBA was taken away and how their attention now had to be diverted somewhere else. And I don't think there are enough alternative um, pieces of media. I see a lot of copycat. I see a lot of bootlicking type of media. I don't see a lot of alternative media straying from what is politically correct, or I should say, politically left. Right?
No, I agree with you on that too, because everything that you see by all these media outlets, like if the left posts something, then the right's going to counter it, and they're just going to come up with polar opposites. And it's not even about, it's not even, especially the time that we're going through right now, it's not even about unity. It's not even about like, making like providing the correct information. It's more about like, oh, well, they said this, so we're going to do this. It's almost like they forget what the common goal is. Like at the end of the day, like, you know, you may not agree with my stance on X, or I might not agree with your stance on Y, but you know, we have like a serious thing going on, like a pandemic going on. It's a big fucking deal.
Right.
And people, you know, people are just insistent on fighting with each other and bickering with each other. Like, and I get it. I get that some people don't agree with things, but at the same time, like we're all human. Like we all are brought into this world together. We all leave this world to get the same way. And you know, people make mistakes, and you know that we're just human. We're not some like alien race or well, well,
Well, maybe.
well, but you know, so it just I don't know. So I think this is going to be a cool thing because I'm a little different than some other people, especially the way I was brought up, and I have a voice and I have opinion and thoughts on stuff, and you know. I joke around a lot on Twitter. I'm like, oh, I'll help you guys find girlfriends and, you know, different stuff like that.
They need to tune in. This is definitely the spot to tune
They
in.
need to tune in, but you know, I'm a little bit older than some of these people, you know, that are in crypto, and you know, I've been around the block a couple times, so I know. So, but you know, I want to mix it up a little bit and talk about some real stuff. So we're going to be talking about the fall of men, and there's a lot that goes along with it. So I guess now in like today's society, just because if a man's a manly man, just because he works with his hands, or if he does construction, or if he's not, you know, super feminine and emotional, it's called toxic masculinity, right?
Mm,
Is that what they call? Is that what they're calling it?
yeah, yeah. You know, every every generation, what it means to be a man is redefined. I gotta say that again. Somebody write this down. These bars right here. Every generation, what it means to be a man is redefined, and that's a problem. I have to plug my book right here because it's the perfect time.
You get your money. You get your money.
The Unbreakable Rules of Masculinity. The link is in the box below. But masculinity cannot bend. It can We cannot allow what it means to be a man to change over time just because times got easier. You know, like what they say. They said, you know, hard times make strong men, soft times make weak men, whatever, whatever. And I think that contributes a lot to the fall of man.
Hmm.
This young generation, this new generation, like I don't know what rules they're following to be a man, but there's a whole other set of rules out here for them.
Well, no, it's true. It's like I don't know, like me for example, I look back at my family and how my grandpa treated my grandma, and how you know like he was kind of the sole provider, and you know he came home, she cooked and cleaned, did her thing, but you know they used to have spats and do all that stuff, but he was still like a gentleman, and he was still there were certain things that he did. So I look at that, and then I look at like the men in today's society, and I'm like, you guys don't hold doors open for women, you guys are not like polite, like you know, just that type of stuff. And it's like, even, I mean, that's not even gender specific either. Like when I go to a store, like I'm going to hold the door open, like for you, for a 16-year-old kid, for like a
Right.
grandma, for a grandpa, like regardless of what race they are or who they are, it's just like a lot of just being polite, being a decent human. But it's like, you don't even see that anymore. And like, I've been
Mm.
married quite some time, and I can't tell you the last time I opened a door for myself. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's you know, and here's something that kind of happened with this new generation. This new generation is so Me Too afraid. So Me Too afraid that, you know, they don't want to open a door, or opening the door for a woman might be offensive because she might be a feminist and I can do it, right? So this new generation has cucked out to that. You know, they've cucked out to that fear. When really it's not about male or female, it's about decency, it's about politeness, it's about respectability, etiquette, you know, how we move about the world in a loving manner um is very important. You can't you can't be so, oh, this is a woman, you know, blah 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 blah. Rules change. Nah, you open the door. But in my household, I was raised like that. You open the door for a lady. You know, I
mhm.
was raised always open the door for your mom's, grandma, lady, car door, all of it. You know, that's just how I was raised. You know, but again, rules change over time.
Go ahead. Why don't you tell everybody what a cuck is? Because I always hear that term, and I'm just like, I want to use it, but it's like I feel like I'm going to misuse it if I use it.
A cuck is a guy that's highly likely to have a girlfriend with an OnlyFans account and support it.
Okay, well that's a separate topic though, because some people are okay with that, and that's the norm in the relationship.
Well, we have to definitely account for that segment of freaks. Excluding that segment of freaks, I'm talking about the type of cuck who will tell his female, I'm not worthy to have you, and if you want to cheat on me, you should have every right to, because men are scum and women
What?
deserve reparations. Yes,
Wait,
this
wait,
is
wait, wait,
this
wait,
is
wait. That's a real thing?
it's a real subgroup.
No. Wait. So I mean, so there's men out there, men or boy. I would actually refer to them as boys. So there's boys out there that tell their woman or tell their chick or whatever, like, yeah, I can't even fathom
Yeah.
that, to be honest, because I couldn't imagine being with somebody that comes to me like, oh, it's okay if you cheat on me and you treat me like a dog and whatever, because there was inequalities with women back then. Well, yeah, there was inequalities back then, but times are different now. Times are like, if you look from the 80s to like today's day and age, the workforce is completely different, like completely
It's
different.
completely different.
Like people are still like, oh, women aren't getting paid enough and whatnot, but I worked in healthcare and everybody, like the boys and the girls, were paid the same. So I get that there's some industries, maybe like higher level management, that they don't do that, but I not really seeing that 73 cents to that dollar difference.
I think there was a lot of little dick energy in the past too.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that Bitcoin community, little dick energy that they put towards women probably existed at the time when the first wave feminism was fighting for those equal rights and equal pay, so on and so forth, because they probably were getting treated bad by I guess back then it wasn't Bitcoin, but whatever community that was, the industrial community, um, technological community, because it's basically technology what we're dealing with, machines,
Mm-hmm.
sewings, etc. So it's really still tech. The guys who own tech, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a parallel there.
Well, I think part of it goes with tech. I think the issue with the tech is that it comes from the gamer culture, and the gamer culture, they're just like a different type of breed of people, because it's like,
Oh,
and I'm into video games, like I like that type of stuff, but I feel like there's some sort of false reality that goes along with video games, because you kind of get caught in this, like, even, and this kind of goes with like the women that sit at home and watch soap operas too, like you get so involved in that fake reality that sometimes it kind of takes over. And in a lot of the video games, like I was playing some Sega game, because I bought one of I'm old school, I like all that
okay.
old stuff. So I was playing one of the Sega games, and all the girl female characters, they had their breasts out, they had like booty shorts and all that stuff, and that's cool with me. But it's like, okay, so in video games they do kind of subject women, but that's part of the culture, so I get it, because
Right.
there's different types of culture. Like I used to hang out with musicians, and when you're around musicians, there's a certain type of culture that goes, and certain type of mentality that goes along with it. And the women that used to hang out, you know what you're there for, you know what you're doing. So that's like, and that's another subgroup too. But I feel like the gaming is like kind of similar to, like, again, the women like at home with the bonbons and watching the soap operas. It's like a false reality. So when these people get so encompassed of sitting at home and sitting in front of a computer or TV or whatever, that when they get out in the public, their reality that they are used to is not real life.
Uh, uh, that's deep, Wendy. Wendy, that's deep.
Is that true? What do you think about that?
No, like that's deep, Wendy. I was telling some people before they were having troubles in their relationships, and I said, this is black people. And I said, did your girlfriend watch Love and Hip Hop? They said, yeah. I said, you will never have your girlfriend as long as she watches that show.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one guy came to me, was successful, got his girlfriend off the show. He said, yo, my relationship completely changed. Got another friend. His wife continues to watch the show. His relationship continues to have problems. These women watch these shows, and these men play these games, and they literally live in alternative reality.
Mm-hmm.
And a false sense of importance. Oh man, that's deep, Wendy.
Well, but it's true though. Like, and because I used to watch that show, and then I got pregnant, and I was like, I probably shouldn't be watching this type of stuff because I found out I was pregnant with the little girl, and I'm like, okay, this is a game changer now. I have a little girl now, so I gotta, I pretty careful with what I let her watch. Like we listen to all different types of music, so I'm with that, but I'm careful what she watches on TV because even some of the cartoons and stuff I'm seeing on TV, like they say the word stupid and idiot, and she's 3. I'm like, no, we don't talk like that in the house. Like you're not going to watch this and then go to school and call someone dumb or an idiot or stupid because we don't talk to other people that way. But I feel like because I used to watch that show and it's a good show for drama and all that type of stuff, but it's not like I mean, in some cases, yeah, people are going to cheat and they're going to pop off and the girls are going to get ratchet. They're going to be fighting with their husbands and fighting other females. But that's not always real life all the time. I mean, unless, I don't know, then that's not
No,
the life. That's not the life
it's
I want
not.
to live.
It's not. It's not real life. I think they take the extremities of life and try to normalize them, and it creates a culture and sort of exacerbates the problem throughout all types of communities, no matter what. But I like what you said there. When you said your daughter's listening to the show when it says the word stupid. Some people say, "Oh, what's wrong with that?" Like they'll completely slip that and say, "Well, stupid isn't a bad word and dumb isn't a bad word," and they're not realizing is when you allow your children to listen to that, you're reinforcing a different culture.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when you have people living life not respecting people.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. And like the thing is I don't think that like, and I catch myself saying that too. Like I'll be on Twitter, I'll be like, oh, this person's an idiot or whatever. But then I have to kind of take a step back and I have to be like, okay, I have to think about how they were brought up. Were they brought up in a single family household? Were they brought up by mom? Were they brought up with dad? Did they have like some things happen to them? What type of stuff happened in their life for them to kind of talk like that? So then I take a step back. I'm like, okay, so I don't really think necessarily that any person is stupid, and I just think it's more of like a derogatory insult, just
Yeah,
it's just not polite. And I think part of our society too is like people encourage you to use the words like, especially when we're talking like about women, to use the words like bitch and thought, and even like I have girlfriends like, oh, what's up bitch, and blah blah blah, and I'm like, I'm not digging that, like, you
yeah,
know I just not, because then like if you're allowing your friends and people you love and care about talk to you that way, then you're going to bring that into your relationship, and you don't want to call your man that type of stuff, and you don't want him calling you that type of stuff, because then it's going to cause problems in the relationship, I think, at least.
absolutely. Uh, the black community, we're a very culturally diverse bunch, more than most people would know. But inside this one little subgroup of black feminism, they've kind of carved out a niche of male hate. And I kind of got to thank them because they're the ones that called me Hotep. They actually created what it is to be Hotep. Yo, shout out to Chad tuning in. 4.99 super chat. He says I have to catch the replay. It's dinner time in the trad fam world. Shout out to the traditional family. Peace and love to the Hoteps. Victor of Life 33 he said this is about to be a combo fire. She's sassy.
I ain't afraid to speak my mind.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we need. Shout out to everybody in the chat tuning in. If you do me a favor, just go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, get this conversation out to your audience.
Hmm.
But the culture that's being embedded is the dangerous part, and it's subverting some of the traditional ideals. But getting back to what I was saying about the black feminists, the tradition of the Hotep communities to call our women queens, right?
Hmm.
And they've actually turned that into a negative. This is how strong the grip of liberal media and propaganda. This is how strong their grip on the black feminist mind is. That when you hear the word queen, they actually say, "Oh, I'm disgusted." It's like, would you rather me call you bitch?
Exactly. I
you
mean,
know?
that's kind of I don't know, like I was saying, like I've seen like old school relationships play out. Like I watched my grandparents together, and my grandpa literally treated my grandma like a queen. Like my grandma when my grandpa when my father grandfather passed away, my grandma, they were like in their like 85, 80. She had never written a check before. She had never filled her own gas tank up. There's things that she never didn't know how to do because my grandpa, that was his job in the house. That's what he took care of everything. Like that's what, so I like to be like me personally, like I like to be kind of put on a pedestal and treated with respect and stuff like that. If my husband's if he's to come with me and be like, oh, like, cool, could I do this and that? I'm like, please, please, please. Like I get all excited about it and stuff. So I don't know.
Mhm.
I understand that women, they want to be independent. I understand wanting to be able to make enough, like make money and do whatever. Cause I'm that way too. Like my husband, because I'm in school right now, getting ready to graduate. And he's like, you don't have to go back to work. And I was like, no, I want to go back to work. Like I've worked my whole life. Like I like what it feels like to bring a paycheck home and all that type of stuff. And it's good, if you're able to, make an extra income and, grind and bring money home, that's great. But at the end of the day, like it's equal partnership. It doesn't have to be like, oh, he's a man, he has to do this, or she's a woman, she has to do this. Like obviously there are some, depending on the relationship and depending how you want to come at something, like you make concessions and stuff, but it shouldn't be like it's just like if a man wants to call a woman a queen, that's a good thing. Like let him respect you. Like that's a gift. Take it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, so I think some people would attribute, I think it's just a hot button issue when we talk about double incomes in the household.
Okay.
Like that. That's an episode within itself, right?
Okay. We could write this down. We could talk about this later.
um, and so this is one of those things where I blame man. I blame man. I blame man. I blame man for everything. This is the one
No.
thing. This is the one thing me and the feminists get along, agree with, for completely different reasons. See, firstly, man has to be knowledgeable. That's first. A man must be knowledgeable for anything. Then a man must be uh, fit. Then he must be cultured. Man has allowed woman to dictate too much.
I agree.
woman, the woman is always going to try and push the boundaries of space. That's what they do, right? They're always going to try and see what they can get away with.
I'm guilty a little bit. Okay, I'm guilty. I'm honest. I'm going to be honest though.
That's what they do. That's what they specialize in. You know, men we're great at just creating a system and make sure it's structured, so on and so forth. But men have become so. Remember when they had that ad where the woman had her hair tied and she had her fist up like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
from the '70s, where like I'm tough to me.
No, that was from one of the world wars. I think when she was like, "We can do this," or "I can do this," or something.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
World Wars, right? Yeah. Men have allowed what it means to be a man. We started the episode off with this. What it means to be a man has become so low that even a woman can mimic it as early as World War One, World War Two propaganda.
Hmm.
What it means to be a man has been minimized over 100 years ago. Had men stayed steadfast and kept defining and redefining what it means to be a man and didn't get cucked each generation, then women would have been in her rightful place. That's all.
Well, one thing I will say about that is during that time, you have to look into like the reason why these women had jobs back then is because all the men they were drafted and they had to go to war. Oh my God,
Yes.
that's another topic for another thing is about if God forbid there's a draft in the United States, I cannot imagine seeing any of these young boys go to war. Can you? I can't. I can't. I can't. Like
I think they starting to realize that that's why they shooting them down using drones and whatnot, right?
yeah, I can't. I honestly, I can't. But back to what you're saying though, the reason why that poster, why it was so significant, is because women actually had to go work in the factories because there was no men to do the job.
Yes.
So I get that. And then after that, I feel like after that, after the war ended, everything kind of went back to normal as women the men went back to work and then women went back into the house, and I've got no problem with that. Like, I think if a woman, if that's what makes a relationship work, if a woman,
Right.
if that is her job to stay at home, take care of the kids, cook, clean, what, all that type of stuff, like, I'm with it, because that's a job, that's a full-time job in itself, while the
Yeah,
man goes
yeah.
out and makes money.
Well, let's talk about the masculinity drain of communities caused by conscription, caused by drafting men into wars that we have nothing to do with,
Okay.
wars we should not be fighting. Laos, Guam, Philippines, Vietnam. I can go on. Just murdering of native people for no reason. Hawaii. But let's talk about that.
Hmm.
When you strip the family of the masculine energy, this I always say is one of the biggest causes of the fall of man. One of the biggest causes of the fall of man. Now, here's where I blame men again. And now this time it's not for being men, it's for not being knowledgeable. Because had you been knowledgeable and had you stayed studied, because remember, a studied man turned into being a nerd and a geek. Like, it wasn't cool to be smart, right? It was
Now
only
it
cool
is.
to just fight, right?
Hmm.
So these things cannot be divided. A man has to be intelligent too, but a man allowed himself to fall into a level of ignorance to where Congress is able to play word games and snatch away their rights, etc., etc. Um, so that's where I blame man for not staying on his studies, for a man allowing himself to be occupied by entertainment more than his studies, because a well-studied man can't be fooled, and we're just not studied enough.
I think it's a society problem in general, and I think that also has to do with technology. Because to me, one of the things that I notice is, I think it's so crazy, is that we have, with our phones, we have this little box here, whatever you want to call it. We can pull anything up in the world. We got Google. We have access to everything. But people, instead of reading, instead of, I know Linda merged with LinkedIn, and they're offering a free month course of whatever it is you want to learn. There's people that are literally doing nothing at home, but they're on like social media, like dicking around. So I feel like that's part, is that like a society thing, or like where does that come from? Because that's also attributing to man not educating himself.
What's that?
Them having information at our fingertips, and
Mm,
not taking the time to go ahead and to do that. That's because that is a
mm,
problem. I don't know
mm.
if it's a cultural thing. I don't know if it's a race thing. I don't know if it's a society thing. Like,
Yeah.
because there's people from all different walks of life that are doing that. That are choosing to not educate themselves.
Yeah, this goes back to one of my old quotes where I say, man doesn't need information, he needs inspiration. At one point, man didn't have access to information. And then the internet got big, and now man has access to too much information. He's drowning in information, which means now he has to be inspired to go look through that information, to dig through that information, to do the research, um, to see all sides of the coins. Um, but again, like I said, that has to be inspired. Somebody has to inspire you. You have to already be inspired. And this goes back to culture. What is your culture? What does your culture reinforce? Does your culture reward scholarship, or does your culture reward having a 10 kill streak in COD, right? Or does it do both, right? Because both might be necessary, but you can't be lopsided in that approach,
Right.
you know.
But then I guess that goes back to the family, because you can come from a culture to where education is not praised, but then you have parents that understand the value of education, and they're instilling that in their kids. So
Mm.
where's the line between that?
Yeah, the family. Oh man.
That's
Well,
a topic right there, is a family, because that's why me personally, I feel like one of the big problems we have in the United States, and maybe even globally, are the broken families. People decide to either get pregnant before they get married, which, if that's what they want to do, that's their business. I try not to get too much into social issues, but when it comes to kids, I feel like a child should be brought up in a two-parent household. I think marriage is probably better, because it shows a child commitment. If you don't want to get married, that's fine, but just as long as you can show that child some commitment and some stability. But we're seeing a lot of people grow up in these households without a dad, or without a mom, or whatever it is. And I feel like it's causing, no matter, it just it's I feel like it's just You
Yeah.
need both, you need both parents because it really screws the kid up. I grew up in a single family household, and like I lost my dad when I was 12, and after
Damn.
that it's like it just kind of changes who you are, I feel like.
Wow. How did that happen?
Well, he was misdiagnosed and he went in for a minor foot surgery, and they sent him home with some like morphine patches, and he didn't wake up on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
So yeah, I remember being so mad at my mom too, because my mom's like, you can't go see your dad and your stepmom, and I was like, was so mad because me and my, it's Christmas time, and then we got the call on Christmas, like Christmas Eve, like later in the evening, your dad, passed away, blah blah, blah. And I just remember like I was so mad at my mom, but I was like also too like thank God, because when I used to go stay, I used to have to take care of my sisters, and I just couldn't imagine, I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
going to wake my dad up and him not waking up.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah, you might have had that image stuck in your head too.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I could visualize it, but at the same time, but after my dad passed away, I noticed a big change in myself, and I went through some, some stuff on my own as like a young female, and with the daddy issues and all that stuff. It took me a long time to sort through that and to be like, okay, you don't need to act. And I've made videos on my channel talking about like the whole selfie thing, because there's a problem. I think that there's a problem with women posting thirst traps and being just ridiculous on social media. Like I get like some of them are models, and that's their job. But you see
Yeah.
these other women that are not models, they're not making money doing it, and they're just out there just showing everything. And I'm like, it's one thing to be sexy, and it's one thing to be confident. It's one thing to dress up for your man and make your man feel good or make yourself feel good. But when you're just out there posting it all for everybody to see, and you don't even have an OnlyFans account, you're not making money doing it. Like, what are you doing? And you think a man's gonna want to stay with you or respect you? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So I think both of those issues come down to, so you will have family, then tribe, then nation. In
mhm,
order for you to conquer a nation, you got to give it a new religion. And that's what we have a problem with here. We see people of certain religions and certain faiths don't have the same problems that um, the white or black Western society has within the family.
mhm.
These other families aren't as progressive.
Yeah, it's a little bit more strict. And I have friends from, specific backgrounds, and the way they run their households is way different than I run mine, but that's what works for them. So I'm like, okay, handle your business.
Yeah, yeah. And so I feel like you're, the, America needs a new religion.
Mhm.
Let me write that down. I might write a book about
You
that.
should. Yeah, write that down, and then I want to know your take on religion and the importance of religion with families.
Yeah, man. Religion is your first culture. You know,
Hmm.
the culture of so first, in order for us to define what I call culture at the micro level, would be the word ritual. When you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? You know, in some faiths they get up and they pray 5 times. You know what I mean? You know, in the Christian culture, you're supposed to wake up, you're supposed to pray. Are
Hmm.
you doing that? Because all the religions say pretty much the same thing, but people aren't carrying out the rituals of said thing. If you're Buddhist, you wake up, what's the first thing you do? You meditate. So everybody has this spiritual connectedness that they start their day with, which I think is first and foremost most important, because this is the clarity of mind, so on and so forth, and kind of sets the tone for your day on a metaphysical level and some subconscious level. And then what do we do physically? What's the first thing you drink?
Water.
Boom, right? That's important. People don't realize like how important that is. That water be the first thing that enter your body every day. Like that's part of your religion. So when we say what the religion is, I need people to really dive down deep into whatever spiritual book they have and start following that. Like how they was following when Jesus had a couple of girlfriends.
And he did. So if you guys are watching this, he did. So don't even. Jesus was a rock star. He used to party. He used to get drunk, and he had lots of girlfriends around him.
Yeah, like got a couple of little ladies, you know what I mean? Little lady friends.
And that was his lifestyle. But also too, like going back to religion, like because I'm a big believer in that book, The Secret. at using that, you know, taking some time in the morning and like, okay, I'm grateful for this, this, and this, and then I want the universe to do this for me. Like I tell the universe, like, you need to give me this, you move this to me. And sometimes I struggle with like roadblocks and stuff, but that's right now, that's like my type, that's my religion. Like when I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning, and it kind of aligns me. And as bizarre as it sounds, I feel happier and I feel better. And I feel like the absence of any type of religion or ritual, like you were saying, with, you know, with men and women, it's impacting their relationship.
Yeah, well, you got to remember that the operating system is our brain. That's how we use. That's what we use to interface with reality. So without the brain, there would be no reality. So reality is really whatever's in our mind. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever we put on our mind becomes our reality. That's why it's so important. There's nothing spooky about it for people to be running and get afraid of. But we must realize that we interpret everything around us by how our mind uh, looks at things. You and I can look at the same thing and see two different things. You know. Um, but our mind is what dictates reality. So that's why we got to be careful with the thoughts that we start our day with, man.
Right.
That's so important.
And that goes back to what you were saying about people watching, you know, like stuff like Love and Hip Hop and, you know, like Jerry Springer, that type of stuff. Is if you're surrounding yourself with that type of mentality where this type of behavior is okay, you're going to take that home. You're going to take that false reality home, because that's not your life. That's somebody else's life or someone else's script or whatever it is they're doing. You're going to take that home with you. You're going to bring it into your house with your man or your woman or whatever it is. And it's just going to be, it's going to be toxic, and it's not going to be, you know, it's, you're going to have that, that's going to be your reality instead of having like what it was before.
Hmm.
And it, like, do you want like, life's supposed to be about living on your terms. Like obviously there's some stipulations to that, but at the end of the day, you're supposed to live life on your terms, but and not live somebody else's life. So why are you going to want to be doing what somebody else is doing and bringing that negativity in your life?
You nailed it right there, man. A lot of people are NPCs. You know, in the game community, we know about NPCs, non-playable character, but these people are running life based upon a script, and the
Mm-hmm.
script wasn't written by themselves. They're running off a script that was written by a programmer.
Well, they're seeing, they see, okay, well, this person with this many followers on Twitter talks to her like this or him like this, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to ride these coattails, and it's like, really, like you're so like, to me that's not like stupid. I don't like the word stupid, but to me that's ignorant. There's a difference between being like stupid and ignorant. And being ignorant is you have the tools, you have the knowledge, you have the brain power, and you know what's right and wrong, but you just choose not to because you're a sheep. You know,
Okay.
you want to follow what these other people are doing, and really, do we want to, you know, do you want to just live and ride someone else's coattails? You want to make a life for your own,
Ah,
and
that's the
you want to teach your kids that this is the right thing to do, that you talk to people this way, that you discriminate based on race or sex or creed or religion. Is that's what you want to do? Like some of this stuff I see people saying on Twitter, I'm like, you call your mom that? Do you call your wife that? You talk like this way about women like this in front of your kids, or you know.
yeah. Well, some of them do.
And that's scary, because you're bringing these innocent little babies up to think that that's okay. And when they come into my neighborhood, or they come they get a reality check that's not going to, it doesn't pan out that way.
Yeah, yeah. And,
So,
I'm just thankful that I raised a good batch of kids that people always say, man, your kids just behave so well. I remember one time we were somewhere and we had a cookout, a little family thing, and everybody's kid was running around drinking juice. And they said my kids were the only ones asking for water. They said, how you get your kids to drink water? I said, water's the only thing available to drink in my house.
mhm. Us too. My daughter, I mean, now I'm letting her have like orange juice in the morning with her breakfast, but throughout the day, she gets water and she gets milk. That's it. There's no
Yeah,
juice. She's never had soda. She never had chips. She gets like a lollipop every once in a while, like if she does something, you know,
right.
amazing. But no, I'm not, my kid is not she's not getting all that crap put in her body.
Sure. Let me read off some super chats here.
Yeah, let's see what's going on. Let's see what they want to know. And I want to talk
Uh,
about feminism.
yeah, we're gonna talk about feminism next. Mary O'Donnell, $10 super chat said, "Hey, Hotep and Wendy, uh, so glad I'm living a more life now because raising kids and getting in relationships these days too complicated for me. Ain't that the truth?
Oh my God.
That's another topic. Relationships in the 21st century.
Yes,
Ugh.
because let me tell you, if I had, God forbid, me and my husband split and I had to go date again, Forget. I wouldn't date. I wouldn't.
I'd be a whore.
I would too. I would be on Tinder. I'd be like, okay, whatever way you got to swipe, and I would go. I do what I needed to do, and then I'd be like, don't call me again.
Yeah, don't call me no more. I don't really don't want to be like attached to you for the rest of my life. And don't tell anybody about this either.
Exactly.
Oh, they said you learn so much as you get older. So glad I grew up when I did. Me too, man. Victor Life $2 super chat. He says it's instant gratification that the phone provides. Brody McFarland 1999 super chat. What up, Brody? He said shout out to nuclear family and my Bolivian queen preparing sandwiches and babies for 19 years.
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
fit, four
Yep.
kids and 40 plus.
Nice.
And Wendy Otep is great. Mary O'Donnell, $2 super chat. She said, I was a single parent at 20. Wendy, you're right. Appreciate you, Mary.
Thank you. That's
Um,
a being a single parent is hard. I don't know how my mom did it with three kids. We moved in with my grandma and my great aunt. We had a 2 bedroom townhouse and it was four of us in a one room until
in
I
a
was
what?
16. In a townhouse, like four of us in one bedroom living
One
until,
bedroom.
well, we have was a 2 bedroom townhome. And my grandma and my aunt, they lived in one room. And then me, my mom, my two sisters, we lived in another room until from when I was 7 until I was 16.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was crazy. So what'd you do at 16?
My mom, my grandma and my aunt, they moved out. So my mom got the other room, and then I was in the room with my two sisters. And then when I was 18, I got thrown out because I was a hot mess. My mom said, she says, if you want to live this way and you want to be doing these things, you can't live here. I says, okay, bye. And so I went to go stay with my friend's dad, and it was just that it was all bad from that day on.
I
Like,
think I think that's one piece of advice we always give I would say kids 20ish is stay home. Don't leave home.
don't leave
Don't
home.
leave home. No matter I don't care what it is you want to do. You mad because you got a curfew? What it is, dog?
Just stay
Just
stay home. My
stay.
life would have been, if I would have stayed home and if I would have stayed in school and I didn't get involved with the types of stuff that I did. I mean, I learned a lot because I was on the streets a lot being an idiot, but I learned a lot. But if I would have just stayed in school and did, what my mom kind of did. My mom had a hard time because there's three, she had three girls and it was just her and no help from anybody. If I just would have listened, just stayed in school, my life, I would have had a better quality of life for sure. But I
Yeah.
learned the hard way and I worked my ass off to just to be
And
to
I
be
think
alive.
the flip side is too is with parents, don't be so quick to kick your kids out.
Definitely.
It's on both sides. You know what I mean? My parents did it to me. It's like, get your ass out. I'm like, hey, where am I supposed to go? I
Yeah.
was shook. you know?
I mean, but some families do that. Like at 18 years old, it's like you're done, you're out. And I know, like with my husband has two kids from a previous marriage, and they're like my kids. I've been with them, been riding with them for a long time. But they know when they come to our house, we have rules. There's things that they need to do. Like you come to my house, you're gonna pick up your sheets, you're gonna pick up your boxes off the floor. I'm not picking your skivvies up. You get a dish out, you need to clean it. Just little simple stuff like that. But there's rules in the house, but there's also a mutual respect too. And
Mhm.
I can be a little strict at times, but it's all love. It's all love because I don't want them to have to go through what me and their dad went through because we did not have easy lives, and a lot of it was self-inflicted.
Yeah, don't allow yourself to feel bad when you're strict. Even the other day, I got on my son. I got on him on some grown man. He's 10. I got him on some grown man shit, and he started crying. And I felt bad at first, but I was like, I don't feel bad. It's gonna make this little fool tougher. You know what I mean? So we gotta remember that as parents, like a lot of stuff we might do, you might feel bad. But at the end of the day, it's just gonna make your kids better, man. You're not there to be your friend. You there to, you don't sculpt. You don't create sculptures with pillows. You create them with hammers and chisels. Sometimes you might have to hit somebody.
No, but it's good though too, and that's another thing is like parents do not hit their kids. They don't hit their kids anymore because it's not socially acceptable. Parents do not. They want to be their friends, their kids' friends. They don't want to parent them. They don't want to. They don't want to be scared to say, hey, Joey, like this is, this is not good. Like instead they praise them for this bad behavior because they just want to be cool with them. But when you're a parent, when you decide to have a child, when a child comes into this world, when you birth them, when you pull them out, whatever it is your responsibility to parent that child, not to be their friend. They
Yeah.
have friends. They have two parents and that's it. That's
Yeah.
it. You got to be a parent, not, you're not friends. That's not
Well,
how it works.
so we got that's another episode we're gonna have to talk about raising your damn kids.
Raising the damn kids, because that's especially in today's day and age, it's hard because they've got, they got their friends parents are letting them do, drink and smoke at the house or whatever it is they're doing. And I
Yeah.
don't know, that's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about
Let's
feminism.
talk about feminism because I got some
What,
stuff to say.
what's your beef with feminism?
So the modern day feminism, it's a bunch of horseshit. It's like you have these, it is. You have these women that I get wanting to be a strong woman. I get wanting to be a powerful woman, to be confident, to not tolerate abuse or sexual abuse or any of that type of stuff. So I get that because that stuff does happen. But when you're when you're being nasty to somebody, or when you're like trashing men and saying, oh, you're all men are bad or all people are like this, you're doing yourself a disservice because you don't know the type of person that you're going to meet. You don't know if this person could be your future husband or any of that type of stuff. It's just not. I just feel like that it's kind of ridiculous because it's not just like, oh, they're taking I'm the strong woman to a whole different level, and just they're being nasty, and they're the ones that are being toxic. Like if a man wants to act a certain type of way, if he wants to be the breadwinner, let him be the breadwinner. You're not in that damn relationship. Why does it matter? If you want to cuck, or you want to simp, or you want whatever, go find yourself one. But don't stop trying to impose your values to everybody else, because it's not even natural either. Like we humans have been on this planet for God knows how many years, and all this feminism stuff, it's all brand new, and it's just not natural.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think there's two sides of feminism. There's the puppet masters and then there's the actual feminists.
Hmm.
When I look at the feminists, I feel bad. This is a community that my heart truly, truly goes out to because I know that this is a group of women who have been hurt by men. Either they lost their dad and they're resentful, their dad left their mom. Some of them been beaten, some of
Hmm.
them been in, sexual assault, cases, whatever, whatever. And then you got, I think this is the most toxic kind is just the bitter. I call them the bitter bitches.
I like that term.
And these are just women who I think because of their own flaws, their own personality flaws, uh, maybe uh, feel feel like they deserve more than they should. Uh, they deserve more than they get. Um, but these women, for example, Jamila Lemieux, this is a feminist that has attacked me previously. Is one of the famous people who called me Hotep and gave us our name. Thank you, appreciate that, Jamila. But when we go look at her history, we have to see that she's written about her hurt, and her hurt is the fact that her baby daddy left her and got married while she was pregnant with their child. Now, I don't know what happened in that relationship. I doubt, actually, let me not even speculate on why they broke up. That's corny. Let's not do that. Let me just say that he chose to be with another woman. He chose to put a ring on another woman's finger over you. Obviously, that woman was doing something right. That's what I'm going to say. Obviously, that woman's doing something right. But Jamila's hurt is not stemming because she has a great father. Her father's like, a great individual in the black community. I think he's a professor in university or something like that. But he's an accomplished man. So she's seen what it's like to have a good, wholesome household. And then what they do is they take that bitterness in their own relationships and try to make other women hate men for all the wrong reasons. And not, well, let me just stop there because this thing can get very expensive. But I think that's That's why I feel sorry for them, because we're dealing with hurt bitches. And
Well, I'm gonna pop in here because let me tell you something. All those things you're talking about with these women being wronged. I lost my dad when I was young. My parents split up when I was young. I grew up in a single household with a mom. I've been in abusive relationships. I've had men whoop my ass. I've been sexually assaulted. I've been all those bad, terrible things that have happened to people. And I know girls that have had horrible things happen to them. But let me tell you something. The people that I know that I ride around with and myself, I don't hate men. I'm not going to be resentful towards every single man just because there was two pieces of shit that did whatever to me. That's like how can you base your opinion on somebody just because off a or how can you base your opinion on a group of people when one person did something wrong to you?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think that the difference is everybody has a level of toughness. I think it's safe to say that you probably have a lot more toughness than a lot of these women out here. A lot of these women are soft as shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't, last at all. Um, and that kind of goes back to the whole privilege thing, being privileged Americans. But that little touch of struggle, and these women fall apart, right? Yeah.
And that's a problem with American society too, because like I'm on Twitter, especially with the crypto community, and this is something I notice a lot within crypto. Bitcoin was created to help the poor, to help the middle class, to help the lower middle class, and not to help these elites. But for some reason, there's all these elitists that are in Bitcoin that are in crypto, and they're like trying to say, oh, like this and that, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yes, Bitcoin was created for everybody, but it was really created for like the poor and whatever. So who are you to try to give this message to these people when you can't even speak to where they're understanding what you're saying?
Mm,
Like because they come off really technical and all type of stuff, and the people that I know, that if you come and talking about blockchain and like immutable ledger, they're going to look at you like,
yeah.
so I'm not understanding this I'm not understanding this type of elitism. Like I get that it's there, but it's like there's so many more of the middle class than there is all these elitists. Like where are these people coming from with their on their high
Right.
horse and their ivory tower? Like the poor people and lower middle class and middle class, we're the masses. Like where are you people coming from trying to spit your opinion? Like
Yeah.
you're kind of irrelevant to not you but them. You're kind of irrelevant to the situation.
Yeah. And that's where, I hate Marx, but when I read his work, that's one point I agree on. That middle class, oh my God, the way they act, the bourgeoisie, is just terrible. It's terrible. They, their attitude towards life, period, is just pretty much disgusting.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I think that the feminists that fall into that category, middle class, and really their relationships were basically flaws in just their own ability to maintain a relationship or have a relationship. It was really the fallout with their, things with men. But then they take that and they push that on other women and tell other women men are bad, and they go through life with this hate men thing, right? And then they try to and then they surround themselves with these cuck men, these men that'll worship the ground they live on and say, "Oh, men are terrible, we're hateful, and you can have my car, I don't need it. Take my money," that type of thing. And they surround themselves with that because that's the only way they'll ever get a man to love them.
Do you think that entitlement, because okay, like I don't like for me, it took me a while to find, somebody that I really really clicked and synced with. And you get your heart broken along the way. Relationships are not easy. They're very complicated, they're very complex. There's so many different levels to them. Like your significant other may have some type of issues, some mommy issues or daddy issues. Like there's stuff that happens. So do you think that these women that are coming off acting like these insane nut jobs, do you think that they just had their heart broken once, and because they are unable to deal with real life, that they just shut down completely because they can't deal with it? They
Yeah,
can't deal with rejection, which rejection is a part of life. Not everybody gets a trophy.
yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly that trophy generation. That's exactly what this is. You gonna try and fail at everything in life, and a minority amount of time are you actually gonna succeed. And these women, I don't think enough women have accountability. We know that, women aren't accountable for their part in their failed relationships, their inability to keep their men satisfied. And I'm not talking about physically, because a lot of women think relationships are all about them and they don't care about men. Um, but again, I blame that on man because you shouldn't be with her in the first place. But whatever, whatever. But
That's another thing too about that.
what?
No, about the whole looks thing. Like me personally, like I don't wear like a whole lot of makeup and I do that for a reason. And the reason why I don't look like all the other girls on Instagram is because can you imagine going home with somebody who looks like that and then waking up to them the next morning and them taking their makeup off and having looking like a different person that you came home with? Like
Yo. And right now it's like about three different faces you have on
yeah.
YouTube.
No,
You-
it's crazy. Like it's one thing to look good for yourself, but like when you're leaving the house looking like that, and these women are beautiful. Like don't get me wrong, they look amazing. But me personally, is like I'm gonna like I'm gonna go out with my man, and then we're gonna go home. Go to bed, do our thing, and wake up in the morning, and I don't look similar to that.
yeah.
Like how is that? How are you gonna keep your man satisfied that way? That's just my whole thing because at the end of the day looks are great, but if you want to be with somebody long term, looks fade. And when
Mhm.
you're 80 years old, you're not going to be looking all sexy in your contour and and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot of dudes out here gonna get caught up with in one of them catfish relationships. She got a catfish face.
Hmm.
She look one way and it's a whole nother, man. That's why I said it's kind of weird dating these days, man. Because now you dealing with girls and it might not even be a girl.
That's true, and I have guy friends that have had those experiences where they've gone home with somebody and it just wasn't what they were used to
Yeah.
feeling, and
Uh
and
oh.
and it was, yeah, someone that I know from way back. There was a girl that used to hang out and everybody had slept with her and they all came with the same story that it was different than another type of woman.
Oh
Woman.
Lord Jesus, have mercy.
And that's fine. There's some dudes that are into that type of stuff. I actually know someone I used to work with. The girl was transgender, and the husband was into that, and she looked like a real woman.
What
But
is this? One of those operational for JJ's?
no, she didn't even have the operation done. She just had her breast done.
Oh, so she still got the yin yang.
Yeah,
And he toy with the yin yang.
I think so. Yeah,
Oh, so he liked that too.
yeah. So he likes chicks with dicks. I guess. Sorry
What
if I
the
can't say.
fuck is that shit? Whatever,
but,
man.
but you know what? If
Yeah,
that's
if
their
that's
thing,
what you
that's
like,
their
hey,
interest.
that's on you. You know what I mean? I can't fuck with it. You know what I mean? But hey, that's what you like. That is what it is. I just feel bad for the dudes, you know, going home and don't know. And then now they saying you could change your birth certificate and all that. But that's a whole nother thing.
I'm like, what? No, yeah. So that's a whole nother thing is the whole looks
Mm.
thing. Like looks are important because obviously you got to be attracted to somebody, but at the same time, connection to me, connection is more important because if you could hit it off with somebody and you can drive from Los Angeles to like Ojai or to Idlewild or to the beach and you guys can just chill in the car and talk the whole time and drive, like that's beautiful. That's like
Yeah.
soulful. That's beautiful. That's intimate. Like, can you imagine driving 4 hours with somebody from Los Angeles to Vegas with somebody that has like all this contour and all this stuff on their face and there's nothing is said. But then you guys go to the club and like she looks good and stuff, but the rest of the time there's just nothing.
She's just a prop.
Hmm.
She's just a prop chick. And I think men have to be honest with themselves and know am I purchasing a prop chick right now? Is that what I'm involving myself with, or is this somebody who can raise my daughter potentially, could raise my son potentially? And be honest with yourselves and spend less time with the prop girls and start spending more time with somebody who you could actually build a nation with, build a kingdom with, run an empire with.
Hmm.
Uh,
Raise those babies upright, or at least according to what you guys feel is the right way to do.
Word. So as we winding down here, what do we contribute to fallen man to? What are we gonna put the blame on? If we had to put the blame somewhere, who do we blame?
I'm blaming society and the parents.
Parents?
I'm blaming some of the parents because there was an article that came out yesterday from LA County, or I think it was, yeah, he was in LA. I forget what city it was, but it was a 30-year-old man or a 36-year-old man that punched his mom because she hid the toilet paper from him. Or no, he was 26 and he punched his mom because the mom hid the toilet paper from him because he was using too much. So he punched his mom and the cops came. So I'm talking about parents like that let their grown ass men or grown ass daughters live in the house, push them around, and think that that's acceptable. So that's their reality. So they take that behavior outside and they treat other people like this. So that's where I'm attributing the fall of man is to parents and the society that is allowing that behavior.
Yeah. Damn. He hit his mom's?
He punched his mom.
Yo, that's a no go in the black community.
That's a no go in Latina community and the white community too. Because I am white, my husband is Hispanic, and if I'm half Italian, and if somebody, I couldn't. And
Yeah.
my husband's mom, forget it.
Yeah. I gotta blame men. I'm putting it on dad. Dad has drank too many beers. He's enjoyed too much couch time. He's enjoyed too much Sunday football. He's enjoyed too much basketball, too much baseball. He's got the pot belly. He's out of shape. And he allows his wife to just kind of run things. Oh, yeah, whatever, honey, whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Al Bundy. Right? Just handed the credit card. Ah, yeah, well. And I get some of that. I love Al Bundy, and I think the way he handles women is exquisite. Um, but too much of that lackadaisicalness
Mhm.
is a reason why we have the legislation that makes us inept and impotent when it comes to creating any type of change, even within our own family. Our word and what it means, what a man's word and what it means in the household when he says it in front of mom and the kids, and how people react to it is
Powerful.
yeah, it's everything. But I think men have to do a better job of educating themselves. They got to do a better job of finding women who educate themselves.
And having confidence too. Confidence is it's a huge, huge, huge thing.
Well, they ain't got confidence because they ate too many donuts and their stomach big as hell. Yeah,
They're Homer Simpsoning this.
you look like Homer Simpson. I wouldn't have confidence either if I looked like Homer.
I don't know. How do people let themselves go like that?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because when my pants start to get a little tight, like if I don't fit in my size 25 jeans, then I'm gonna be like, then I'm like, okay, I need to do something. Like this is not okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I was always an athlete, so I just always kind of kept my body in shape. Um, but yeah, you gotta stand your D. You gotta stay, doing your push ups and your pull ups and all of that. That's just typical man shit, and that's why I said, the culture. I was raised by a military dad, so I'm a
Okay.
little bit different from a lot of people. Um, but you gotta do your push ups, man. A lot of people don't know how to build testosterone in the body. You want to build testosterone in the body, which is going to give you confidence. You gotta do some push-ups. Drop down, give me 10, give me 20, give me 30, give me 50. You know, you do them push-ups. Men don't realize that. You find your manhood in your push-ups, and then
Hmm.
and you lose your manhood when you jerk off.
Okay. I need to know more about this. I think.
Yeah, and you just once a man busts a nut, it's a wrap. He ain't even a man no more. I spoke about that on Rogan.
Okay. Okay.
And porn. You talk about. And again, man, we indulge in too much pornography.
I agree with that because that's not how real relationships work. That's not reality. It's not real. It's you're watching somebody else do something else, or even people that pay for prostitutes or all that type of stuff. And I respect that. I respect the grind. I respect the hustle of strippers and sex workers and porn stars, all that type of stuff. I respect it, but that's not how the relationship is going to be all the time.
Well, you can't blame women for moving into this new society where it's okay to be naked and all of that, and then still watch porn because you basically supporting it. You the reason why they setting up shop there because you the market. So men have to be careful of how much porn they indulge in and take in because at the end of the day you're reinforcing um, a industry that's growing exponentially, and your daughter might get caught up in it.
And that, oh my God, that's another thing too, is that like because I have a daughter, like I totally thought I was going to have a boy and I had a daughter and I was like, oh shit, like this is real. Like, cause I'd like to talk about this more in depth on another episode, but you have to, in my opinion, I treat my daughter differently than I do my boys.
Yeah.
I 100% do, because the world is it's a different place. And there's things about all that type of stuff that you have to be careful with. And
Yeah, there's demons in this world, and this is a certain amount of demons that women are susceptible to, and a certain amount of demons that men are susceptible to, money and power, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to teach these our kids about how to face these demons and these wants and the seven deadly sins, et cetera. But they are definitely different. The ones for women are definitely different. For boys and girls, they're definitely different.
yeah.
Super chat just came in. Chad Lemoyne, 4.99. Thank you, Chad. He said the breakdown of the sanctity, weight of marriage is responsible. Fools rush in. My wife are going on 23 years strong. We dated 5 years first. Dang, y'all on y'all Jordan year, yo. That's what's up, yo. Shout out to Chad and his wife, his trad wife. You know what I'm saying? She know how to make plantain. That's the secret of all of this shit. If you know how to fry plantain, that's a good wife. You fry plantain, Wendy?
I have not. I have
You,
not.
you know plantanos?
No, we don't. I do what my favorite dishes I do here. I do like Sunday dinners. I do like Italian sauce, Sunday sauce, and like chicken cutlets. And then my husband, he loves beans, so I do, because his grandma used to make them, so I make them just the way his grandma made them for him.
He's Hispanic,
Yeah, he's half.
and he don't like plantanos.
His family's very whitewashed.
His family's whitewashed. We about to get y'all some culture from now on. We gonna have Wendy cooking plantain before long.
You know what? I actually can cook, because most people cannot cook this day and age that are my age and younger. I
Yeah.
actually can cook. If you send me a recipe, I can cook it. And if you send me a good recipe for that, I'll go ahead and I'll post it on Twitter. Me making it, I'll make a video.
All right, I need to chat. Y'all gotta remind me one episode. We're gonna teach Wendy how to fry plantain. That's my favorite food. That's why I say everybody gotta know it. That's my favorite food. But yeah, one
Um,
episode I'm gonna teach you how to do it.
all right, I'm excited.
Um, yeah, now it's a good chat we had today.
I enjoyed it. Thanks for having me on, and thank you to everybody who was watching.
Hey, so next week we'll be back talking about the fall of woman. I know
Hmm.
that's gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna let you guys have it too. So,
Yeah. But yeah, y'all tune in next week. Make sure you subscribe with the channel. Thank you for supporting. Shout out to the chat for tuning in and everybody that sent the super chat. We appreciate you. But yeah, I'll see you next week, Wendy.
all right, bye. Thank you. Thank you guys for